What's going on, everybody? My name is Justin Patrick, and welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while since we've had our last upload, but we're finally back in full swing, and today I actually wanted to show you guys a few things that I've learned recently. More specifically, how I've been getting really good guitar tones using nothing but free plugins on Reaper. So about a week back, I posted on my Instagram story a quick video of an audio clip showing how I got a really good guitar tone using nothing but free plugins on Reaper. And I decided to go ahead and make a video showcasing how I got that tone, and I decided to go ahead and double up and demonstrate how important EQ is in your guitar tone. Not just where you place it when you're setting up your guitar tone, but also when you're recording. And before this video goes any further, I want to give a huge shout out to Glenn Fricker over at Spectre Sound Studios. I've been watching a lot of his videos lately on how to improve my recording and mixing, and he has provided a lot of really good insight and a lot of really valuable knowledge. So again, huge shout out to Glenn Fricker and Spectre Sound Studios. If anyone wants to go check out their channel and get a more in-depth explanation on what I'm trying to explain and more stuff on how to record and mix rock and metal at home, their channel is going to be down in the description and at the end of the video. I highly encourage you check them out and subscribe. They're very informative. Okay, so with all that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and open up Reaper and show you guys all the plugins I'm using and where I'm placing them and how I'm setting them up. All right, so now we're looking at the computer screen and seeing all the plugins that we're using. And before I get into this, I should mention that I am plugged directly, my guitar is plugged directly into my Behringer Ultra DI 400, and that's going directly into my Scarlett interface. I know I can go just directly into my interface without the DI box, but I got the DI box so I could eventually split my signal both directly into the interface and into my amp as well. I'll eventually get into a video on how I have my amp and cab set up as well. But for now, I want to show you guys what I'm doing with the plugins. So this is more to be as a quick fix type of situation. Sorry, the screen goes a little dim. But basically what I'm using, these are all free plugins minus this SMG cock blocker plugin right here. This is the noise gate that I'm using. It's not free, I had to pay to download this, but you can also use the free Reaper gate plugin that comes with Reaper. It's also free to download as well, just by itself without downloading the actual DAW. But basically what I'm using is, for the amp sim, I'm using the V-Stomp V-Stomp amps by Hot Tone Audio. This is, I believe, a dual rectifier simulation. What most of these amp plugins come with is a impulse response that you can use in conjunction. However, most of these do not come with an effects loop. So what I choose to do is turn this off. So if we just hear the amp sim by itself, yeah, that sounds pretty shitty. It sounds fucking awful. So yeah, we kind of want to keep that on. We're going to want to turn on an impulse response. So what I have here is a free impulse response by Lancaster Audio. It's the Pulse 2. So if we turn that on, this is how it sounds. So yeah, it sounds a lot more like a guitar. So yeah, just adding that guitar impulse response gives it a much better guitar sound. Like I said, you could use the impulse response from the plugin or from the guitar cab or from the guitar amp plugin, but I don't really enjoy those the sounds of those impulse responses. I very much prefer the Pulse 2 plugin. So if we listen to it again, yeah, it sounds a lot better. Because you can actually pick and choose which different cab simulations you have. You have the Warren Hewart V30 in here. You also have the Cameron Webb JMB. There's a bunch of different ones you can use. There's Ulrich Wild Mesa and a Bob Marlette bass amp in here. There's a bunch of different ones you can add. You can even add your own if you want. But this is basically how I have the settings set for the pulse. For the amp, I basically have it set pretty basic. Gain is a little high. I know I could probably come down on that. But bass, I have it set to 9 o'clock. Mids around, I want to say 3, or I want to say around 10 o'clock. Treble at 3 o'clock. Or sorry, yeah, bass at 9. Bass at 9, middle at 10, treble at 3. Presence, I have it around 1 o'clock. And I keep the master volume dead center. For the enhancer, I went ahead and turned it off. And I turned off I basically turned everything off. The gate's off, the mix, the reverb, and the delay is off. Like I said, for the gate, I'm compensating with the cock blocker. But I'll show you how to use the free reverb, the free Reaper gate as well. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get into what EQs I'm using. So for the EQ in front of the amp, all right, so for the EQ in front of the amp model, or for the amp sim, I'm using this. This is the Analog Obsession Graph Hack or Graphic EQ. It's a free plugin, completely free. I'll leave a link down in the description for all these plugins, and you'll be able to have some fun with them. But this is entirely free. I basically have it set up in a reverse smiley face situation. I have the 16K frequencies turned down a little bit. Same with the 8Ks. Around the middle, I start to bring them up. The 4Ks, 2Ks, 1Ks, those all start to come up. 5K as well, or the 500 frequency, I do bring up slightly. For 250, I leave it as is. Like I said, it's basically just an entire upside down smiley face. For the input and output gain, I kind of bring the output up a little bit. I'm going to bring it down to about a 3 just for now, because it is up a little high. So if I go ahead and test it out now, oh, well, I got to activate it first. So yeah, basically what the EQ in front of the amp is doing is you're EQing the signal from your guitar into the amp before it even hits the distortion. And yeah, you can really tell the difference between having it off and having it on, because off it sounds kind of dark and kind of fuzzy. But when you have it on, it sounds a little bit brighter. But at the same time, it also sounds a little dry. So with that, we can also introduce an EQ, a parametric EQ, in the effects loop. So what I'm using right here is the free Reaper EQ that comes with the DAW. You can also download, like I said, you can also download it for free if you wanted to separately, without having. You can download the plugins that come with Reaper separately for free, without having to pay for the DAW altogether. It's totally optional. But this is basically what I'm doing as far as a parametric EQ in the effects loop. Normally it comes with 4 bands, so I added a couple extras. I brought a couple of the frequencies up a little bit towards the high bass and the high mid frequencies. I kind of brought those up a little as well. The mids, I brought those, or the low mids, I brought those down quite a bit, and yeah, everything else has been pretty much the same. So before we get into how it sounds with it on, this is how we have our guitar tone without the parametric EQ in the loop. All right, So now if we add the parametric EQ back into the loop, it's already, that alone is already starting to sound a lot better. It's already sound a lot more record worthy. So like I said, this is just the EQ in front of the amp and in the loop, or where it would be in the loop if you were using a physical amp. So now that we have basically our guitar tone ready to record and mix with, if we need to add another EQ, we can add it in post. This is after the impulse response. And all I'm doing here, before I add, I'm not gonna add it just yet, but before I add it, all I'm really doing is cutting out some low and some top, just to cut off some fizziness and some buzz, basically just to clean up the sound a little bit. So yeah, that's basically what it sounds like with it on. So like I said, this is without the EQ in post. So yeah, this is without the EQ in post, and this is with the EQ in post. So yeah, that is basically all 3 EQs in place in my signal chain with, this is all free plugins, by the way, mind you. Like I said, minus the cock blocker plugin, which you're gonna need a good gate if you are gonna use this much EQ and this much distortion. So if I go ahead and activate this, it cuts out a lot of noise, and this is why I really, really love this plugin. You get a really clean guitar tone. You don't have to edit out all the pauses and all the empty spaces. Yeah, it just cuts out so clean. I'm not even turning the volume knob on my guitar. So that's with the cock blocker plugin. If you want to use a free plugin, you can add one from the REAPER plugin library. Sorry, I'm using that word a lot. Holy goodness. Okay, so we're back here and we loaded up the free noise gate that comes with the REAPER plugin library. This is the Regate plugin. Like I said, this all comes free with the REAPER plugin library off the REAPER website. You don't have to pay for the DAW to download this. You can all get this all for free. But I'm using the gate at negative 14.8 dBs just to really cut out as much of the excess noise as I can, even though you'll still hear a little bit. Yeah, it still holds, it still sustains pretty well. So you're not losing a whole lot of ring out when you hold a note out. So say we were just let this ring out. It holds out for a pretty good amount of time. I know I cut it off a little bit early, but that's because I want to show you the comparison to the cock blocker plugin, because I highly encourage you guys download this. It is a very, very good and necessary plugin, especially if you're recording guitar with heavy gain. kind of like the one that I'm using, it uses EMG pickups, so they're already really high gain. But as you can hear, this thing cuts out noise, no problem. You don't get any excess noise when you hold any notes out. Okay, yeah, there was a little bit more. Okay, there was a little bit of cutout right there. So basically how I have it set is the threshold is set to negative 12 dBs. Input gain is set to 0. Output gain set to 0. Attack set to 2000 milliseconds. The hold set to 25 milliseconds. And release set to 93, 94. Closer to 94, yeah, I'd say. All right, so now that I've shown you guys my plugin configuration, I want to go ahead and show you guys how everything sounds in the raw audio mix. Not the camera audio, obviously, because that's all you've been hearing so far. Now you're going to get to hear the actual audio, everything going directly into my direct box, directly into my interface, and being mixed with the plugins that I've shown you. So here we go. Okay, so that's going to wrap up today's video of my free plugin configuration that I'm currently using on Reaper for my heavy metal guitars. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and a comment. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to see more, be sure to subscribe to the channel as well. It actually motivates me to get back into recording and uploading a lot more. Next week, I'm actually planning on showing you guys how I mic up my guitar amps and record those. That's actually what I'm really looking forward to. Also, if you guys are looking to download and try out any of these plugins yourself, links are going to be down in the description below. All plugins mentioned in this video are free with the exception of the SMG Cockblocker plugin. The SMG Cockblocker plugin is a paid plugin to use, but it is very much worth the money. It normally retails for about $40, but I was able to get it for $26 on their spring sale. Spectre Sound Studios also has a variety of other very useful and very record-worthy plugins to use for you guys as users, and I actually can't wait to download those and try those out on the channel, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.